Hello and welcome to my channel.
Jorg Schlagheck.
The one and only.
Well, it's the end of June already. Once a month I speak my mind, unscripted, in front of the camera, in front of you guys. Basically, I talk about what's going on in my life, in my city, and this month. Well, I gotta tell you, this month went by in such a hurry. It's crazy. Where did we start? Well, the beginning of the month, there was a big concern about the forest fires all around the area here in Alberta. We had mostly the air quality really crappy. You couldn't barely breathe in some days. Now it seems like that is very distant. The air quality, I don't know, it's probably not the best, but it is definitely not a concern at the moment for your health. I know that in the eastern parts of Canada, now they have the thicker air, the thick smoke, the whole shebang. I think Ontario and Quebec still have probably hundreds of fires burning right now that they can't all get under control. Anyways, in Alberta, last week we had about 3 or 4 days of straight rain. And there were some areas here that were at the beginning of June struggling with the fires, and now they were struggling with floods. But I believe the fire risk is still high, and we still have a fire ban going on here in the city. Now there's another thing that happened in June that was really on the news everywhere, and it was on everybody's mind, I want to think, at least those people that are kind of interested in adventure of all sorts. And I think you probably already guessed what I'm going to talk about. It's the Ocean Spirit submersible that got crushed trying to make it down 4 kilometers or 3.8 or whatever to see the Titanic. 5 people dead. There were 4 people on there that, as I understand it, were paying customers for a trip. Basically a tourist attraction trip. It's kind of sad because this submersible, as it turned out, it wasn't built right. It was built out of carbon fiber. I know a lot of you ride bikes that are made of carbon fiber. I've never had the pleasure of owning something like that. But as I understand it, it takes very little, even on a bicycle, that renders it unsafe. Say when you get some scratches on your fork and it's carbon fiber, you actually have to go through a process of checking if it's still safe. And I don't know what, but I've heard of people breaking their neck because a carbon fiber part failed. I also don't know how these bikes hold up in the long run. See, the bike that I'm riding, it's behind me right now, it's a steel bike from about 1983, maybe 84, I don't even know the exact date of manufacture. But this bike, it's made of steel and there's no issues with it. Now this submarine, I've seen so many people comment on that already. The CEO of the company that built this thing and that commercializes these trips, or did commercialize these trips, he was warned by many engineers about the structure of his submersible and how it would be a disaster waiting to happen. And it turned out they were right. Now, what made him think that he had it figured out better than all these experts, I don't know. It definitely, from what I seen, it didn't seem like he was expecting that to happen, that he was ready to die, or anybody on that trip was ready to die. They were in for the adventure of a lifetime, which happens to be a 111-year-old shipwreck that is sitting on the bottom of the ocean. There's not much left because the ocean takes its toll. And quite frankly, while I too have a little bit of a dream of going down to the floor of the ocean to see the environment and stuff, I can tell you I would not take that kind of risk for it. And even if these people thought it wasn't a big risk, I mean, picture this. You're sitting inside a space that is the size of a minivan. They said they didn't have any seats in there, so you're sitting on the floor, and this is going to go on for 8 hours, best case scenario. Like, how much can you really see when the pressure outside is so strong that you can't have a big picture window or anything like that? You could probably get a better experience if you go to an IMAX theater, and I believe there are already movies for that were taken by other submarines and by what do they call those? It's like a drone underwater, a remote-controlled submersible. You could have a much better experience just taking one of those and sit back with a bag of popcorn than actually going down there. Now, I understand it's not the same, but really, you are in a confined space. You cannot move. You cannot... Where's the bathroom in these things? And they are bolted in. They cannot even get out, even if they were, like, after they got lost and everybody thought they were somewhere, either down below, at the bottom of the ocean, tangled up in a fishing net or in the Titanic's propeller, or they were floating on the surface. But either way, they would have died unless somebody found them so they could get unbolted and the hatch could be open and they could breathe. And I know I'm kind of nuts too when it comes to adventure. I mean, you've seen Barbara and I cycle in Colombia and Mexico, and we take chances, but we are not suicidal. We like to be in control of our own movements. Now, in this submersible, I would have died, not of the crushing force. I would have been dead way before that because of claustrophobia or something like that. It would just not be my thing. But talking about that, the other thing that really, really, really bothered me about that, just days before that happened, there was a boat with refugees coming from, I believe, Syria and Iran, trying to get to Europe. And they capsized, and there were hundreds of people that got missing, probably died. And I think the Greek Coast Guard could have done a whole lot more to try and rescue them, but they claimed that they didn't want to be rescued. They were probably worried that they were going to be locked up or sent back to their country or something. That's how bad the situation is. And so now there are 5 definitely really, really rich people who can afford this bullshit, excuse my English, excursion down there that is totally unnecessary. It's sightseeing. It's disaster tourism is what it is. And they get in trouble. And some people already knew before the search even really got going that they were most likely dead. But so many resources got spent and sent there, big search and rescue action. Now, don't get me wrong, my heart goes out to the families of those who died down there. And even the people that signed up for this, I know you didn't expect this and you didn't deserve to die. But the guy who ignored all the warnings and got everybody to sign up for this, and he was probably a charming guy, this Stockton Rush, who could convince people that what he was doing was okay, was safe. And, well, look what happened. They're gone. Yeah, what else can you say to that? It's a really sad story, and it was totally preventable. Nobody should go down to the Titanic for sightseeing. This is bullshit. Definitely. This is not right. 1,500 people or so died down there, and it was in 1912. I know it's a long time ago and stuff, but this is like the same thing as if you go visit the Twin Towers a couple of days after 9/11. In my mind, it is. It's 112 years ago that this disaster happened, but the wreck was only discovered maybe a decade ago. I don't even know exactly, so don't quote me on this. And yeah, there have been some exploration done, and I don't know what really the idea is to go digging around there more. But it's because of the movie, obviously. Before the Titanic movie came out, I think the Titanic was pretty much forgotten. Wasn't a big deal, you know. Shipwrecks happened throughout history. There's even probably some more spectacular ones even than the Titanic. And yeah, nobody cares about it. It is this movie thing, you know. Somebody, James Cameron, he made a good movie out of it, but he commented on a lot of news channels about this disaster, and I heard him say that he told the guy that wanted to try and go down there with another carbon fiber submersible that he talked him out of it, saying, don't do it because you're going to die. You're going to die in this thing. And, well, he was successful. He actually talked that guy out of it, which was great. Why did somebody have to do this anyways after nobody would certify his submersible? It's a joke. It's really a joke. And it's the billionaires that sign up for this crap. That just goes to show you that really nobody deserves that much money, because it doesn't matter who it is and what they do. Human stupidity always wins out sometimes. I'm not immune to it. You're not immune to it. We all do stuff like that. And if we are given too much money or power, sooner or later, we mess up to the point where it's going to affect somebody else. Yeah, what am I talking about? I mean, I'd like to get rich too, right? But when I see this, I just got to shake my head. Anyways, don't get me wrong. I'm all for adventures, all kinds. If somebody tells me, well, we can sail across the ocean in a little sailboat, and we are in control of what happens to some degree. Well, I don't know. I've never done anything like that, but probably I would say, yeah, okay. And I'd have this tingling in my stomach thinking that, whoa, I might sink and die in the ocean, or a shark might get us before we can get rescued if that boat capsizes in a storm or whatever. But this submersible that was crushed, man, yeah. It's maybe the best way to die, because they said the people didn't even realize what happened before they were dead. But that's debatable, however. They might be stuck in a cycle in another world there or something. Who knows? But yeah, it's just awful. So again, my heart goes out to the families of those that went missing. I don't know what to say to them. Next time, just, be more careful. And with that, I think I talked long enough. Got this off of my chest. This was on my mind, and I know it's just a bunch of crap. Why is this news? Because we're all crazy, I think. Because we're all crazy and we all get excited over things like that. But we shouldn't be. It's a shipwreck. It's a bunch of pile of metal with algae and seaweed growing around it, with a bunch of octopuses and other fish that surprisingly can handle, I don't know how many tons of pressure. But yeah, they're apparently adapted to this environment, and it's amazing that it's even possible. Humans are not. And that's why 5 people had to die. They probably didn't consider the risks enough. Or they thought the adventure was worth taking the risk, and that's where it gets sketchy. Anyways, enough. Maybe you support me, hit the like button, and if you're just tired of me talking, just go to another video or do whatever. But I thank you for supporting my channel. I'll talk to you again in the same manner next month. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.